bothered by that.
Okay.
We use an air compressor.
I always like to get them used to the sound.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
So I'm wearing gloves, not because I'm a pansy, but because the oil from your hands can actually interfere with the bond. If you're, if you're wiping the foot and your hands are sweaty, you can actually deposit oil on the sole, and that can interfere with the bond. So cleanliness is always a concern.
Quick, make one.
A lot of times we just use the back of our knives.
Yeah, that's in fact.
3 pounds. That's pretty
So
good.
Leslie, I'm trimming this frog a little bit. I'm going kind of bare minimum.
Okay.
I don't want to take off any more than is necessary. Really just cleaning it out essentially.
That's fine.
Probably should have Joby do this, or Steve.
My husband had surgery
All right, I think we're ready for the heat gun.
3 or 4 years ago, I think.
Hey, Sutter, here locally then. Would you please? Yeah, because I saw one surgeon and I broke my back years ago with a horse. And this slice broke vertebrae, broke the disc, and it's not coming back to life. Surgery,
Spend a little more time on this because of the moisture in the ground.
Now, when a person doesn't have any type of a moisture reader, how are they going to know what's the appropriate time?
Generally, the sole looks a little like frosty and white.
just gets that flaky,
Yeah.
dry out look.
What
do you need?
Foam board? Foam board? So what I'm doing here is I'm crushing this foam up into the web of the shoe so that we end up with a slightly lower than ground surface finish, so that the shoe provides all the traction that's necessary, and the pad is more of a protection device than a support device. I'm putting this all the way into the toe. I don't want any air bubbles, so I'm sticking the tip all the way to the toe and dispensing it and then backing it out as I fill. So I've got it about 2/3 to 3/4 of the way full, and then I'm just gonna, while it sets, I'm gonna press my palm in here.
What's setup time on the sole card?
60 seconds. Now this may, the frog may poke through this, which is okay. I mean, this is really more for sole protection,
Right.
but it'll still provide protection around the frog.
It'll be more than she would add.
Are you from the Sacramento area, or?
We live out of Placerville in a little community called Mosquito.
I live up in Nevada City.
And where?
Nevada City.
Oh, okay.
So and we're also gonna, so there's a little bumper of material that oozed out. We're gonna we'll trim that a little bit, but we'll leave it because that helps protect the shoes. If you got anything sticking out, that bumper will help protect the shoes from clipping.
I had a total shoulder replacement 3 years ago. His clinic did. He's retired now,
I would imagine I had.
but he's still in his mid-70s. We're still doing surgeries. He just loves surgeries.
Yeah, I told, when I went into surgery, I was 15
Nice
or
calm
16.
horse staying out here all
Is
by
ski
himself.
accident or?
And, yeah,
I haven't been so lucky on other
And,
occasions.
so.
A couple times they brought them to me tacked up where they're ready to go on a warm-up ride, and horses are just, they're all amped up, they're ready to
So
go.
around my ear. But anyway, they took me into him and he says, "What do you want out of this?" And I said, I said, "If you think I can walk for 10 years, don't do surgery." And so he went in, cleaned a couple of things up, and did a few things, but didn't do anything major. Well, and he had torn a couple of ligaments a little bit, so he cleaned them up.
Yeah.
And when I came out of surgery, he says, "Okay," he says, "you can walk for 10 years."
Was he right?
Well, that was back when I was 16 and I'm 57.
Oh, good for you. What do you need?
I'll just take a question.
I have a daughter that's an ex-ski
These
racer.
foam
She's had 9
pads are
knee
purchased through
surgeries.
BTEC?
And Stedman and his clinic have done 4 or 5
Yeah,
of
through
them.
a vet tech dealer,
But
yeah.
the interesting story about Dr. Stedman was last time my daughter went in to see him for one of her knee surgeries.
You can also
he
use
says-
duct tape
my daughter
or
says, "Because I'm
you can actually
comfortable,
hold a
I'm not sure
plastic
what to do."
pad smeared with a
He
little
says, "I have
Vaseline,
this,
but these are so
friend
nice
who's
because they
surgeon at the
stick and
University of Minnesota, Dr.
it's like having a third hand. You don't have to hold it.
You know the only complaint I have about those pads, Larkin?
Yeah.
You need to have a little pull tab
So
on
my
the
wife,
corners.
because I just blow my
Yeah.
knee out
On
with
the corner.
surgery,
Oh, yeah.
surgeries myself.
We used to
And I
actually
said,
have
"Board
an
my
extra
daughter." I mean,
layer
my
of
wife said,
material, the white
"I don't
stuff
know what
there,
you do, but I'm out of work now."
and they quit
Anyways,
doing
long
that.
story short, my wife told
Yeah,
us to stay.
Just a
especially if you
little
don't have fingernails.
She and my
Yeah.
daughter to Minnesota.
On the corners,
Consultation, just a pad you can have out work. So Dr. Stedman paid for my daughter's and my wife's flight there and all the accommodations to get basically the second opinion. Dr. Trump did the surgery. And her knee is just nothing. Ain't no one knee. Dr. Stedman, very kind person. Took interest in my daughter. And now there's Dr. Lamont, now he's working with Stedman. Stedman was retired.
Grace? When?
And I guess if some of the sole guard extended a little farther, anyway, you just trim it a little.
Yeah.
Hang on.
It's a nice way to protect the bulbs a little bit and protect the back of the shoe.
How much did you come home on that?
Huh?
I see you. Okay.
Yeah, if these shoes were set back even further, then I'd put more material there. All right. Let's go take a look at this other one.
I've been shooting horses for 40 years. And about 25 years ago or so, I was in Napa shooting a show barn Morgan horses. I was underneath the Morgan's Stanley.
See, so there's your frog, just poking through a little bit. And we'll trim that off. Hey Joby, can I borrow your nippers?
I never stepped on it. It twisted me all up. So
Just the yeah.
just round, pulls me
I
out.
get from the side, you see
As
the
you're crawling out to a
cavity.
body check. When I went to stand up, I had this rush of hot acid to feel on my lower back.
Smells.
And that
Thank
was
you.
turning the muscles, and the broken vertebrae went undetected by
Quit.
the doctor.
Leave it.
You know, the x-rays and things were more primitive back then. But from that point on, I had chronic back problems. And So it's gotten to the point where I don't sleep well at night. Usually first thing, and I medicate quite heavily, but morning stuff is really difficult. So anyways,
Stand.
long story short, I go to the Dr. Stebbing clinic there in Colorado and see this Dr. Foreman, who's a surgeon. Takes MRI and X-rays.
So that would actually help the shoe not to get hooked.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah, and protects the bulbs from, you get a rock right here. If you didn't have that there, a rock would dig in.
Four vertebrae, they're
So
separate.
that should be good.
Read this, they're squished. Got a good horse.
Yeah, you do.
We'll let him work on Pebbles or Lucy. We have a draft class that does it one way or the other, good or bad. And then I've got my sister's horse, and she's just always good.
Yeah,
he called
everybody's having to
50
go
minutes.
down to the lower.
He must be stuck down there because it's been 50 minutes since I talked to him. And he should be
set up. Now Larkin can figure it out. Go. Do you want me to hold this out at all?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
There he is.
Close it up.
We're gonna let him come right up here.
Close it up.
Some of this stuff out of the way.
He can wait a little bit.
Yeah, I know.
That should be good.
Go ahead. Got it?
Yeah.
He does nippers.
Yeah.
What?
Nippers?
Yeah, or art?
Careful if you ever cut off the tree. That can happen.
That one's shaking.
I know.
You should get closer and not have it on telephoto, and it'll take a better picture.
Well,
I know.
Oh,
She's gonna get spoiled on this horse.
she's pretty used to me manipulating the legs around.
So Larkin, if I just cut the tip,
or the woodland forest ground.
500 years from now they'll come across that and say, what the heck was here?
It was a little bear that had diarrhea. I did see some bear prints today. I saw some, I saw about this big, and then I saw some about that big.
Race. Now, when it was mentioned when the sole guard comes out near the rear of the shoe, it actually helps protect the shoe from possibly being pulled. But on that particular one there, it didn't quite cover them as much.
Correct.
When you finish putting your foam pad up, can you add a little foam guard, or is that too late?
No. Once you can add within about a minute of its setting, but in that area, adding it wouldn't stay.
Okay.
So yeah, once this material loses its tackiness, you can't add to it. Our hard setting materials, our repair materials, you can, but the pad materials, no.
I don't understand that sometimes, but
That's what I've had to do.
yeah. I'm thankful that I found that guy, and because this has been my livelihood for 40 years. What do you do?
Yeah, the foam board's definitely the way to go.
Yeah.
Are they waiting for the same thing over here?
They're waiting for just a replacement in the Equipack. So I'll provide the material. You guys charge them $15 to.
Now, even though this is firm, it still has flexibility.
Yes,
to
Yes. Yeah. It's similar to your basic black work boot sole.
Because what I'm kind of noticing is that when you're all said and done, there's concavity
Yes.
still there.
Yeah, we still want concavity. We want the shoe to provide traction and support for impact, This just simply protects and, protects against stone bruising, and it does provide a certain amount of support as well.
Yeah, this last summer we went to Shawnee National Forest and some folks had showed up, went out on their first trail ride with steel rim shoes, but with stone bruised.
Yeah.
So this would have protected them from it.
Yeah. Yeah, really, the thing is there are a lot of people who have ridden this with just shoes and no protection, but all it takes is one rock to hit the right spot and you're done, So
Yeah, you got your name on it out there,
Yeah.
you'll probably find it.
Murphy's Law.
So I tried putting it off, and basically L4 and L5 was slow. And
So this is a pretty ideal bumper. You can kind of see how it's just the right amount that's flowed out there.
Now, if you get carried away, get too much, how do you handle the overage then? Just let it set and
Yeah.
then nip it?
Just trim, cut it with a knife or nip it off. Yeah, for like this, I might actually nip a little bit of this.
so I went back
If it had got up to the hairline, then I definitely would. Some horses, have sensitive bulbs, and you don't want that there.
Right.
Most of them, appreciate it without really knowing.
made a couple cuts, stood up and went to walk, and you talked
Now, in some glue applications, one of the worst things that can happen is the hoof goes down and the horse moves and twists. That's not the case with this, though.
No, that's true of when you're gluing on a shoe. You're gluing on a steel shoe, an aluminum shoe, a urethane shoe. That's why we recommend the use of clips to control that shear
Right.
force. And but that's we also hold it up until the glue is fully set before we set it down to prevent that. Yeah, the twisting is shear force, and that's the enemy of any glued on device.
to see him. I ended up seeing his nurse practitioner. Anyway, they're both putting me in a bodysuit for 3 months. And
Yeah, basically, and what's really important to note about these foam boards is you want to peel it from the heel. You don't want to pull it at the toe because that's where the material is thinnest. So you risk, if you pull it too soon, you pull the material with it. So after about 5-10 minutes, you roll it off the toe. If it separates from the material, then you can go ahead and pull it off.
Okay. Now, total cure time. Is there like a 4-hour?
We basically recommend, in 15 minutes you could actually ride on this.
Okay.
Probably be better if you waited a half hour to an hour.
It's got this itch thing